Hey guys, I used to think late night phone calls were just drunk dials or telemarketers gone rogue until I heard about this story. Since then, I don't look at my phone the same way, especially not after midnight. Tonight's tale isn't just scary, it's the kind that leaves you questioning what's real and what's already buried. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe. And if your phone rings at 3 a.m. after this story, maybe don't answer it. Or I'm not responsible either way. Now, let me tell you about a friend of mine, a guy who swears this really happened to his cousin Emily. Emily had always been a practical girl. Rational, never believed in ghosts, omens, or any of that supernatural stuff. After a messy fallout with her stepmother, she moved into a small rental house just outside of Elkhurst, Indiana. Quiet, remote, cheap and less than a quarter mile from an old cemetery. It was her first time living alone. And though the place had a slight musty smell and creaked more than she liked, Emily was relieved to be on her own. No family drama, no fake smiles, just silence. That silence broke the very first night. At exactly 3:03 a.m., her phone rang. The screen read no caller ID. She figured it was a wrong number or scam and let it ring. The next night, 3:03 a.m., again, still no caller ID. This time, she picked up, said hello, but all she heard was a faint breathing. Not static, not wind, but deliberate. Shallow breathing, slow and rhythmic, like someone lying down, struggling through each inhale. She hung up. The next morning, she convinced herself it was a prank or maybe even a glitch. But deep down, something unsettled her. The breathing hadn't sounded artificial. It had sounded close, too close. On the third night, she was wide awake before 3 a.m. She stared at the clock as it ticked closer. 3:02, 3:03. Her phone rang. Same block number, same pressure building in her chest. She let it ring 5 times before answering. Who is this? She demanded. Again, only the breathing. But this time, there was something else in the background. A faint scraping sound like nails dragging across a wooden surface. And then, a soft whisper. Come back. She froze. The voice was feminine, but rough. Broken like someone whose throat had been dry for days, or buried under dirt. Emily dropped the phone. She tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a sound overlay. Maybe someone had hacked her phone. She looked up how to block unknown numbers. She even turned off her phone the next night. At 3:03 a.m., the house phone rang. She didn't even remember the landlord saying there was a house phone. It was an old landline, beige and cracked, stuck to the kitchen wall. The ringtone was shrill, ancient. Emily stood still in the dark, heart pounding. She didn't pick it up. Next morning, she called the landlord. Does the house come with a landline? There was a pause on the other end. There used to be one. He said, back before the last tenant. I thought they disconnected it. Why she hung up without answering. By now, Emily had a ritual. She'd stay up each night, phone in one hand, pepper spray in the other. The calls kept coming. She recorded one, hoping to analyze it. She played it back, over and over. Each time, the breathing grew louder. On the 5th replay, she swore she heard her name whispered between breaths. Mill? She threw the phone across the room. That's when the cold spots started. Small pockets of freezing air would settle in random corners. The living room, the bathroom, even her bed. Sometimes she'd wake up to find every window closed but the curtains swaying. Like someone had just walked by. One night, while brushing her teeth, she saw a figure in the hallway mirror. A tall, gaunt silhouette standing motionless. When she turned around, nothing. The mirror, however, still showed it. Things escalated. Lights flickered. Her cat, Momo, began hissing at the front door every night at 3 a.m. And always came the call. The number still said no caller ID. But one night, it didn't. It showed a 10-digit number. Area code 317. Emily paused. She looked it up. The number had once belonged to Erica Lowell, a local girl who died 3 years ago. Cause of death unknown. Suspected suicide. Buried in Elkhurst Cemetery.
Emily's house was a 3-minute walk from her grave.
She didn't sleep that night. Or the next. Then, someone started knocking. Always at the same time. 3 slow, deliberate knocks at the door. The kind that didn't sound like someone asking to come in, but someone reminding you they're still there. Emily couldn't take it anymore.
She packed a small bag, grabbed Momo, and left the house at dawn. She drove aimlessly until she ended up back in the city, where she stayed at a cheap motel.
No service on her phone, no signal, no calls. Just the dull hum of bad lighting and the distant sound of traffic.
That night, she slept.
For the first time in weeks. She got 5 uninterrupted hours before waking to Momo pawing at the motel door, growling low. 3:03 a.m. The motel phone rang. She froze. There was no way anyone knew she was there. She hadn't used her name. Paid in cash. Her personal phone was powered off and inside her backpack. The landline rang again.
She picked up, hands trembling.
This time, no breathing. Just silence. Heavy and dense. The kind that fills your ears and makes you feel like you're not alone. Then, a voice barely audible. Like it was spoken through dirt.
You took
my place. Click. The line went dead. The next day, she visited the Elkhurst Cemetery.
Maybe if she saw the grave herself, something would make sense. Erica Lowell. The headstone was weather-worn, barely legible.
Flowers were still there, but wilted, crushed. Like someone had stepped on them repeatedly. She stared at the grave for a long time. Then she noticed something beside it partially buried in the dirt. Right along the edge, something glinting faintly. Emily dug with her hands.
It was a phone. Cracked, covered in dry mud. Her heart dropped. Same brand.
Same color. Even the same scratch on the screen as hers.
She turned it over. The screen lit up.
A notification appeared. Missed call, 3:03 a.m.
She screamed and dropped it. That night, she didn't go back to the motel. She stayed with a friend. Lainey, someone she hadn't spoken to in years.
Lainey listened quietly as Emily explained everything. She didn't laugh, didn't roll her eyes.
When Emily finished, Lainey asked one question.
Do you remember Miss Garland? Emily blinked. That name was dust in her memory.
From high school, Lainey nodded.
She told us a story once.
About a girl who was buried alive.
The phone buried with her kept calling her killer.
Emily's stomach turned.
Lainey pulled out her phone and searched the school forums. Found a post, a screenshot.
A blurry photo of an old newspaper clipping.
Teen found dead in grave with scratch marks inside casket lid.
Phone recovered with multiple outgoing calls. Emily recognized the photo.
The face, it was Erica Lowell. She vomited in the sink.
They both agreed to go back the next day.
To the grave to dig deeper. Figuratively, at least. But Lainey never made it that night. Lainey's boyfriend found her unresponsive in bed. No sign of struggle. No cause of death. Just one thing, her phone still playing a voicemail over and over on speaker.
Emily's voice. Lainey, it's me. I don't think I'm alone anymore. Emily never left that voice message.
Desperate, she returned to the phone shop she'd visited weeks ago.
The technician, Mark, still remembered her. His hands trembled as he pulled up the call log she'd asked him to analyze.
This number? It shouldn't exist anymore, he said.
Whose was it, she asked.
He turned the monitor toward her.
Owner Erica Lowell.
Last service date, August 17th, 2019.
The same day Erica died.
But here's the thing, Mark added.
I traced the last GPS ping before the phone went offline.
Emily stared at the screen. Location your house. She staggered back. Wait, she said. You mean the cemetery?
Mark shook his head.
No, not the cemetery. The exact coordinates are your living room. He paused. The phone was inside your house before she died. Her mind reeled. Erica had been in that house. Before she died, Emily left the store in a daze.
Her hands shook as she unlocked her car. She climbed inside, started the engine.
Her phone rang. No caller ID. She shut her eyes, ignored it. It rang again and again and again, 10 times. 20. She turned the phone off. The radio turned on by itself. Static. Then you know where I am.
That night, Emily returned to the house. She didn't know why.
Maybe because the only way to stop it was to finish what it started. The front door creaked open on its own. Inside, everything was the same, except colder, darker, like the house itself had exhaled death. She stood in the center of the living room,
and the phone in her pocket rang, though it had been powered off. She answered, nothing. Then a whisper, right behind her ear, not from the phone. Dig! She dropped the phone and ran to the garage.
There was a spot in the backyard where the grass grew slower, darker.
Emily grabbed a shovel
and started digging. She dug until her hands blistered, until her breath came in ragged gasps, until the metal edge of the shovel hit something solid with a hollow thud. Her skin prickled. It was a wooden box, about the size of a microwave. Old, damp, stained with something darker than soil.
With shaking hands, she pried it open.
Inside was a phone identical to hers.
Still powered on. No charger. No battery pack.
Just on. As if it had never died.
And beside it, a bundle of what looked like hair.
Human. Long and black. Tangled with dirt and small bones fingers. Maybe.
And at the very bottom, the corner of a yellowed paper. Folded neatly.
He unfolded it. A message in childlike handwriting. She took my name, so I took hers. Emily stumbled back, unable to breathe.
She dropped the note. The air suddenly thick, heavy, pressing down like a weight on her chest. Behind her footsteps, she turned, expecting to see someone. Nothing. Just empty night and the rustling of dead leaves.
Then, the phone in the box lit up again. Incoming call, Emily. Her name. She didn't touch it. It answered itself. A voice spoke through the speaker, not Erica's.
It was hers, but warped,
hollow, like it had been echoing underground. You buried me. Now I'm part of you. The screen cracked. Lights flickered in the house behind her.
She backed away, nearly tripping over a tree root.
Suddenly, Momo hissed. She turned. He stood on the porch. Fur bristled. Eyes locked behind her.
She turned around. There, at the tree line, was a figure.
Barely visible. A girl in a white nightgown. Head tilted, limbs unnaturally still. Watching? Emily couldn't move. The figure didn't walk. It just appeared closer. First at the edge of the trees, then near the shed. Then, a blink later, at the base of the porch.
She ran inside, slammed the door.
The lights inside popped, one by one, leaving only darkness. Her phone was ringing again. This time, the screen said,
"You are home." The front door rattled.
Then 3 knocks, slow, final. She didn't answer. Instead, she grabbed Momo, locked herself in the bathroom, and waited for morning.
It never came. The sky outside stayed black.
The clock stopped at 3:03. Time held its breath. Then the voice came through the walls. Emily, it's okay now. You're already here.
And suddenly, she wasn't holding Momo anymore. She was holding a phone.
With dirt under her nails. And then, silence. They found the house abandoned weeks later. No sign of Emily. No signs of struggle. Just her phone. Placed neatly in the middle of the living room floor. Still powered on. Last call made 3:03 a.m. Contact name Mom. Message sent from the phone. Never opened. Tell them I'm not her. I didn't die. She did. But it was signed Erica. And here's where it gets worse. That number. The one the calls always came from. It's been disconnected for years. And yet people still report getting calls from it. Always at 3:03 a.m. Sometimes it's just breathing.
Sometimes it's your own voice telling you to come home.
So if your phone rings tonight at 3:03, maybe just let it go to voicemail.
'Cause whoever's calling,
They already know your name, and they're just waiting for you to answer. If you're still alive after that, leave me a sign, maybe a comment that just says I never answered the call. Until next time, sleep with the lights on. I know I will.